More questions are emerging about the purported sale of a multi-million-dollar SSNIT software to Sierra Leone. The latest twist to the controversial $72 million SSNIT ICT infrastructure deal came up in JoyNews' quest to get some answers about information revealed by a source. We'll tell you shortly what happened when we posed the question about the alleged sale of the software, which the trust sought to replace with the new system. My colleague Daniel Daze was at SSNIT at the invitation of management and joins me with details. Hello, Daniel.
Good evening.
Why did SSNIT invite you?
Well, initially, SSNIT wanted to clarify the status of this OBS system.
Whether it was working or not, because JoyNews had done some checks that suggested that it was working, contrary to claims that by the management that it wasn't working.
Exactly. So they went in with that singular aim to show us what the problems were. We've discovered some 132 gaps is what they call, where they were expecting maybe X from the supplier, they got Y. Maybe they were expecting a chair, they got a table. So that's what they call gaps, where they didn't meet the requirements. They call another thing issues, where maybe they expected a car that can drive 3 miles, a car can only drive 2. So that is, we got it, but it can't really do what it can do.
Right.
So those are 237. So they went into demonstrate some of those to me. And we'll be showing you that on the screens. Now, if you can see what is in our shots right now, we can see some of the equipment that they got. So we'll be going into those. But when I went there, I was also curious about the role that some key individuals who are in the company played.
Okay.
And one of those key individuals is the person I interviewed, that is Mr. JoyNews.
Right, so you started your interview on the OBS. What new information did you get?
The new information I got really was, first of all, that the OBS system at the moment, like I reviewed, has some gaps, it has some issues. I also found out that the gaps and issues that it had, according to the management of SSNIT, they requested that they be changed, that they be corrected, and this is what shot up the price from 34 million to 72 million.
Right.
Because instead of the contractors to come and say, okay, we'll fix them for you, they said this will cost you so and so. Okay. So we'll come and do that.
Now, you talked about wanting to find out the role that the acting MIS manager played. Why is it important for us to know the role he played with this whole OBS?
Well, you know, Israel, from the very beginning, we know that it's been a matter of us making a certain mistake somewhere. It could be when we were making the orders. It could be when after they delivered on their orders. So we want to try and find out the people who were there at the very beginning. Now, I'll take you through a simple chronology of events that we have according to the documents that we have uncovered. And that will show you why Mr. JoyNews was very important. And I had to ask him some of the questions that I did. So this one is the minutes of a meeting of a pre-tender conference. This is the conference for anyone who may be interested in bidding for this. Right. So it was held on the 23rd of August 2011. The date is very important. The one who presented the SSNIT requirements was the IT manager IT applications. If you look here, the IT manager IT applications is JoyNews. This is actually JoyNews,
right,
who is the one I spoke to as of 23rd August 2011. Now, later on, that's a few months down the line, 25th January 2012. PBS Silver Lake, which is one of the people who were at this pre-tender conference, writes a letter to SSNIT telling them that we request for your assistance to issue business entry visas to Malaysia, where Silver Lake is, to senior executives of the Social Security and National Insurance Trust, SSNIT, of the Republic of Ghana. These are some 5 officials. I could go through all of them, but you can guess number 4 on the list, Mr. JoyNews, IT manager, IT applications.
So he was there.
He was there. He's one of the people who went to Malaysia to look at what exactly they were bringing to make sure that these guys can do the work. They were going to show them around, to show them that these guys... Now, where were they going to take them to prove to them that they can do the work? There are 4 sites. The first one is an Employee Providence Fund, EPF, or then it's the Malaysian name for it, for our installed base solution at EPF. So basically, they've installed a software at an Employee Providence Fund. Now, if you would remember, later when the software was delivered, these managers complained that they delivered a Providence Fund software that was tweaked to work a bit for SSNIT, and that was the genesis of the problem. But when they were going to find out what this company can do in Malaysia,
they visited a Provident Fund company. You
get it now. So I'll take you to another. So this was 25th January 2012, that letter. Now, in that same letter, it did say that they will be traveling on or before the 14th of February. Now, the date, I just want to make sure I get the date exactly right. So let me just look at the letter again. And because it stated the date that they'll be traveling. It said, yeah, the 12th of February 2012, on or before the 12th of February. Now, this one is signed off on the 2nd of April. This is post-evaluation. It says here, a subcommittee of the evaluation panel conducted technical due diligence as a reference site of Perfect Business System and Silver Lake Consortium. Remember that letter where they needed the visas. Now they've gone, they've come back, they are presenting their report. So it lists the sites again. Perfect Business Systems Accra, Employee Providence Fund, EPF Malaysia Main Office, Malaysia. And it goes on, EPF Malaysia Customer Center, Silver Lake Credit Card Processing Center for Bank Rakyat, Malaysia. And it lists 5 of them. I'll take you straight to the conclusion. The team concluded that Perfect Business System and Silver Lake Consortium have the capacity and capability to deliver the OBS solution as detailed in the SSNIT tender document. Conclusion and recommendation. From the above analysis, it is recommended that the contracts for procurement of operational business suites, which involves design, supply, installation, commission of a Social Security Pension Administration System, be awarded to MS Perfect Business System and Silver Lake Consortium at the contract sum of $34 million. Signed off Theodore Frederick Ohene, John Hagan Mensah, George Odum, Howard Brookman-Emisa, John Nimo.
John Nimo, who's always been in the mix.
Exactly.
Now, so what we're seeing from all of this is that they went to Malaysia to want to see what this company could deliver, and what was shown to them was a Provident Fund company, or what they had done as far as a Provident Fund company is concerned. And yet they came back and they said this company could deliver.
Exactly.
All right, so where do we go from there?
Yeah, so at this point, knowing what we know, I went into what role he played, trying to understand where he did.
All right.
Now, there is a part that becomes difficult. You know, sometimes we go on the field and we are not able to capture every single word because Mr. Nimo is speaking. He's giving me the role he played, and we are interrupted. We are interrupted by another person who tells me what Mr. Nimo is telling me about the role he played is not true. And that there is actually a different thing that Mr. Nimo did. Mr. Nimo came in to do the requirements, to tell us about the requirements. Remember, he did a presentation on requirements at that 23rd August 2011 meeting to scope the requirements after a consultant had been hired. Mr. Nimo told me this. Later, he agreed with this man who did the interruption. He said, okay, it's true. But initially, he was telling me I did the requirements.
All right. So what was, at what point did they do the final sign-off?
Right. The final sign-off, and I have another document here. This one says contract document for procurement of OBS for Social Security Pension Administration.
Which final sign-off meant that they were going to be paid?
Exactly. It says here, a meeting took place. And there are so many documents here. We've been walking around with these things for days. A meeting took place on the 8th of November, 2012. This one says, minutes of operational business suite OBS project pre-contract negotiating meeting. So they held a meeting, a pre-contract negotiation meeting. Basically, what came here is that they broke down the cost components of implementation services, and they told PBS Silver Lake, give us the cost components of every single service you're going to give us. In attendance, I can go through the names, but it's the same names.
All right.
And it includes our very own Mr. Nimo. On the 15th of November is when the contracts form was signed. This is where, so they ask for cost components. Here, they give the cost components. And it says here, pension administration solution. It has a mobile registration workstations. So you see, this first element, pension administration solution, this is what when PBS Silver Lake was delivering, they tweaked a Provident Fund software, and they made it into what Silver Lake and PBS described as a pension administration solution.
All right. At this point, let's watch Mr. Nimo and what he had to say.
I was the project manager. You know, John was the project manager, ICT coordinator. That's John Hagan Mensah. Later, he was transferred from the MI division, and then I was made to take over as a project manager. So I was a project manager till the contract was signed. Then after the contract was signed in November, I was taken off as a project manager.
So what role did you play as the manager?
As the project manager, when we did the evaluation, I was part of those who did the evaluation.
The evaluation of?
The tender evaluation, looking at the response to our requirements and then evaluating all the tenders. Yeah, I was part of the team that did the evaluation.
So, I mean, with the evaluation done, with the requirements developed, when we were getting a software that was defective, no red flags were raised?
Yeah, red flags were raised. For instance, when we came in, the approach that the vendors used, we were not happy with it. For instance, instead of bringing in a pension product for them to review, they brought in a provident fund product. And they rather asked our staff to go and walk through the product to identify gaps that they have to fix. Because the requirement required the vendor to look at our requirements, look at their product, fix the gap, and submit a ready-made pension product to us. You see, but they didn't submit a pension product. And that's what brought that's the genesis of all the challenges that we are facing.
But when we were signing it off, at 100%, again, no one else was consulted?
When we were signing off, I wasn't part of those who signed off, so I can't tell what went in. But when signing off, we knew there were a lot of issues, outstanding issues, but so they went ahead to sign off.
And we didn't raise the issues?
People raised issues. Even at that time, our chief internal auditor requested that they should allow them to audit in terms of the bill of material that were to deliver and the product that they've delivered against our requirement. But the auditors were not allowed to do that audit before the sign-off took place. If they have done, we will have seen all these issues and possibly not sign off.
All right, so that was Mr. Nimo there, talking about his role and all that. But then it got to the point where you asked him the Sierra Leonean question.
Yeah, it could confuse someone. When he referred to signing off, he meant at that point we had gotten to the point where we were talking about they have received the software and they are signing off that the software works. At that point, he was not with the MIS department. Yeah. Let's just make that clear. Okay, so we had some information before we went that a software had been sold under dubious circumstances from SSNIT to the social security company in Sierra Leone. And that's, we have some information that we haven't independently verified. So we wanted to ask him that question. This is what ensued.
Are you aware of any sale of any software to Sierra Leone?
Sierra Leone, yes. What happened was that in 2001, our then Director General, called Ms. Erica J., he was appointed as...
No, you can't, I'm sorry.
He was appointed as the Director General. Let me answer.
No, you don't have to. Because this is not part of this. You don't ambush him.
Let me tell you.
Wrong, very, very wrong.
Mr. Nimo, you can refuse to answer the question. No, Mr. Nimo, you can refuse to answer the question. Mr. Nimo, this is a question, so you can refuse to answer it.
No, Gossin, let's answer it for him to clear it, because otherwise they'll carry this.
We are not live on air. We are not live on air. But it's your prerogative. Mr. Nimo, I am asking you a question.
Daniel.
Wait, I'm here with a team.
Excuse me. Can I speak to you too? Yes. Corporate affairs, I was told that you are here for this purpose. So I should come and oversee. So if you are going overboard, something that has nothing to do with OBS, I cannot look out for that one.
If we want him,
another time you can invite us for that. We are prepared to. Yes.
So would you?
No, I'll be prepared to speak to you, but not here. Like this forum, let's limit it to OBS.
So you'll be prepared to speak to you,
if you,
here.
that is it. If you want that, I can find.
Can we be excused and you will answer the question?
Oh, no. Let's finish with the purpose why you are here. Another time, you can shadow another time, and I can talk to it. Because I know people are peddling false information, so we can speak to it.
When we have the opportunity and we can just clear these things, because I have already let my position be known to you. I want to rather be dealing with these issues. But these are questions that have been put up and we have been asked to get answers.
So you should have made us aware that when you come, you are going to hear.
Ma'am, I'm not, you see, I wasn't asked. Yes, ma'am, thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. So we'll do it another time. Thank you.
I'm ready to talk to it, but not this forum. Maybe.
When can we?
Oh, anytime after you finish this OBS issue, if you book, we can talk about it. Okay. Yes. And
all right, so interesting interactions there.
Very interesting interaction.
I mean, you almost got to the point where you were going to be probably lynched or something. You must have gotten quite nervous.
The Lord is my shepherd.
All right, but now Mr. Nimo is saying that he's assuring us that he will make himself available to answer questions regarding the Sierra Leonean issue.
Exactly.
And so it's something I believe that you'll be following up on.
We definitely will.
All right. Thank you very much, Daniel Dadze. And he has been following this SSNIT, this controversial software issue or ICT infrastructure issue, the Social Security and National Insurance Trust, SSNIT. Now,